This video is the second video in the coordinate geometry of the circle set of videos. In particular, this video is looking at points inside, on, or outside a circle with center 0, 0. What you can be asked to do is you can be asked to verify if a point is inside, on, or outside a circle. And in particular, in this video, we're looking at a circle that has a center of 0, 0. There's three scenarios. So the first one would be like on the furthest left-hand side of here on the page, where we have the center O and we have a point P. And I can see I have a line drawn between these 2 points. And as you can see here, P is inside the circle. To figure out if a point is inside a circle, all you do is you sub that point in to the x and the y of the equation of the circle. And if the x squared plus y squared is less than the radius, well then you know that P is on the inside of the circle. Alternatively, like this middle diagram here, if x squared plus y squared, when you sub in the x and the y value, if that equals the radius, well then we know that the point P is on the circle. However, if when we sub in x and y, and we get x squared plus y squared, and we figure out that that number is bigger than the radius, well we know that point P is outside of the circle. This can be best explained with a few examples, which we're going to go through now. So question 2.1 says, are the points I, 1, minus 3, II, 3, minus 2, and III, 5, minus 4, inside, outside, or on the circle x squared plus y squared equals to 13. So we'll start with the first one, I, and here we're looking at the point 1, minus 3. And we're figuring out if that's inside, on, or outside the equation of the circle x squared plus y squared is equal to 13. The point we have is x1, y1, and all we do is sub it in. So x is replaced with x1, which is 1, and that's squared, plus y, which is minus 3, and that's squared, equals to 13. 1 squared is going to give us 1, plus minus 3 squared gives us 9, and that's equal to 13. 1 plus 9 gives us 10. And we say to ourselves, right, is 10 equal to 13? Well, no, it's not. 10 is less than 13. And because 10 is less than 13, which is the radius, we know that the point 1 minus 3 is inside the circle x squared plus y squared equals 13. The second point then we have is 3 minus 2. Again, we can label that x1, y1, and we have the equation of the line, which is x squared plus y squared is equal to 13. What we do then is we replace the x and the y with what we know it is, so it becomes 3 squared plus minus 2 squared is equal to 13. And 3 squared is going to give us 9, and minus 2 squared is going to give us 4. So what we're left with is 13 equals the 13, which is correct. So the point 3 minus 2 is on the circle. The final part then, so part III, asks us about the point 5 minus 4. Again, we have x1, y1, and we have the equation x squared plus y squared is equal to 13. So we replace in what we know, so it becomes 5 squared plus minus 4 squared is equal to 13. 5 squared gives us 25 plus minus 4 squared, which is 16, is equal to 13. So then we have 25 plus 16, which is going to give us an answer of 41. And as we know, that's not correct. 41 is greater than 13. And because it's greater than, we know that the point 5 minus 4 is outside the circle. Question 2.2 is very similar. It says check if the point minus 5, 1 is on the circle x squared plus y squared is equal to 25. So we start by writing the point, so minus 5, 1, and that becomes x1, y1. Then we get the equation of the circle, which is x squared plus y squared is equal to 25. We replace in the x1 and the y1, so this becomes minus 5 squared plus 1 squared is equal to 25. Minus 5 squared is 25, plus 1 squared, which is 1, is equal to 25. On the left hand side, we'll get 26 is equal to 25, which we know is not true. 26 is greater than 25. When we get the left hand side being greater than the right hand side, we know that the point is outside the circle. The final question in this video then is question 2.3, and it says, show that the point 3, 2 is on the circle x squared plus y squared is equal to 13, and hence draw the graph of the circle. So what we do is we write down our point, which is 3, 2, that's our x1 and our y1. We have the equation, which is x squared plus y squared is equal to 13, and we replace in what we have. This here becomes 3 squared plus 2 squared is equal to 13. 3 squared will give us 9 and 2 squared will give us 4. So indeed, this time 13 is equal to 13. So then the point is on the circle. And the final part, it says, hence, draw the graph of the circle. So we have the equation, which is x squared plus y squared is equal to 13. We know that's in the form x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. And we know that r squared is the radius squared. So r is equal to the radius. So r squared is equal to 13. So r is going to be equal to the square root of 13. Because we know the center is at 0, 0, we can draw the x-axis and the y-axis and the center at 0, 0. The radius is square root 13, so we can come out square root 13, square root 13, square root 13. Then all we have to do is join the points where it's square root 13 together in a circle. So any times it asks us to draw the circle and it gives us the equation, what we have to do is figure out first of all the center point. When it gives it in the form as it is here with the x squared plus y squared, we know that the center is always going to be 0, 0. And we know that the bit on the other side of the equals to is r squared. We can then find r to find what the radius is, and then we just measure the radius along the x and y axis to find the 4 points where it's going to cross the x and y axis. Then we just join those points together and that will give us the circle. Now, remembering for this one, we also have the point 3, 2. So approximately here, this might be our 3, 2 point. But that's question 2.3 finished, and that's also the end of this video. I'm hoping that the questions you're going to do with this video are okay, but if you do have any problems, please get in contact with me and I'll help you as much as I can.